Hello Artsy Peeps, this is Ian DJ, Raven Fox 13. Welcome to my impromptu live. This is our talk, episode 8. This would be Watercolor 101. Let's just wait for a few seconds until a few people come in because this is unannounced. In celebration of World Watercolor Month, we will be doing a Watercolor 101 basic session for tonight. This would be a quick session. If you have your, if ever you have, hi Cosette, hello. If ever you have any of your watercolors with you, you can try to join along and paint along with what we will be doing. For tonight, I am sharing with you some of my new Himi Miya products. So these were sent to me by Himi Miya through Be Happy Crafts PH. So I have here the Miya watercolored pencils here. So these are the 24 colors Miya pencils. And then I also have here the 100% cold press surface 300 GSM watercolor paper. This is acid-free. It's 135 by 195 millimeters. This is, I think, the wood pulp. Oh, yeah. This is the wood pulp kind of variant. There's also a cotton variant, which is a little bit priced higher. It's the Fabriano kind. Most of these things you can check on Be Happy Crafts PH. Of course, if it's your first time watching through my page, feel free to like and subscribe and share it to your friends who also like to start their journey in watercolor. For tonight, we will be using the solid watercolor by Miya. So this would be a quick unboxing also. And I just wanted to check out this new setup that I have, whether it would be okay for the live. So if you get this kind of watercolor kit, it actually has all of the things that you probably need to start your watercolor journey. So the solid watercolor kit is a complete set of almost everything that you need. This is the 24 color set, but it also has the 12 color set. It is around $499, and if you use my code, it's BA-IAN on Be Happy Crafts PH. It would also give you an 8% discount on all of your art material purchase from Himi, Huhu, Artline, and all Be Happy paper and watercolor paints and brushes. So let's try to check what's inside a watercolor kit from Himi. So, for you to start your watercolor journey, of course, the first thing you need to have should be a watercolor set. So, this is a 24 color watercolor set from Himi Miya. Let's just open this up. It comes in a sturdy white container. We have here a nice watercolor paper swatch for this one in watercolor paper also. And then, I'll just put this here muna. When you open this pack, see, these are solid watercolors. Miya already have different kinds of solid watercolors. If you already have one of their sets, this would probably be something similar. So we'll swatch everything, check all of the color names. The color names are here, so don't throw away this one. Probably write this down right after. So this is an impromptu live of Watercolor 101. And then, after getting this set, so you have this, you can put things here, like your brushes, pencil, or pen, and then you can use this as your mixing plate. This one. The kit also comes with this part. So this thing has, I told you, this kit almost comes with everything that you need when you are starting watercolor. And it comes with an eraser. This is a rubber eraser. And then you have here a 2B pencil. And then this is also, this is a nice, what kind? This HB pencil. You have here a beautiful Himi brush. I actually like the watercolor brushes of Himi. And then, this is a good fine water brush. And also, you have here a pigment liner, 0.05. So you can use this for travel sketching, and then, it fits here, oh. Diba? Even the brush. So you can actually travel with this one. Not bad, ah. Okay, so it comes in this kind of pencil case-like box. And, of course, that's not just everything with it. It also has its own paper. Okay, so we'll be using all of the things that are in the kit for tonight. Okay, so we'll be swatching, we'll be trying out different watercolor techniques using these materials. I'll try to sharpen these muna. So to check out my social media things here and there, feel free to check Raven Fox on all of the platforms, and it would probably be out there. Oh, if you want, yes, Cosette. So if this is your first time doing watercolor, I would highly suggest, if you're gifting someone, if you want them, if you know someone artsy and you want to give them something na watercolor set, this Himi Miya set is actually a very good option to be given as a gift for kids, for teens, or even adults who want to try the medium for the first time. So let me just open up this paper. I don't have a pair of scissors with me ngayon. Wala akong dalang gunting. Tapos maikli yung kuko ko. So medyo mahirap mag-open ng mga bagay-bagay. I should have foreseen this. Pero ayun nga. So this is a parang one set of watercolor everything for you. Of course, if you'll be painting, you need oh wait, this set also comes pala with, I almost forgot. This set comes with, ito pala yung names ng set. Just in case, sa likod. If you're traveling, you can just use this. So this is yung water container that you can use. So this is a reusable plastic container. Para siyang yung sa juice, like this. So if you're traveling, tas you can't afford to bring yung water na lalagyan, so you can just use this. Lagyan nyo lang sa gilid nyo. Ayan, tas lagyan nyo ng tubig. Diyan na kayo magsasawsaw ng brush nyo, or maghuhugas ng brush nyo, or kukuha ng water. Pwede din yun. Pero since nandito ako sa bahay, let's use this for travel purposes and put this here. I'll just be using my handy-dandy mug. Itong mga cups ko. So, I have been using this since the pandemic. One is for washing the brush. The other one is for clean water. So, ayun. So, ang una natin gagawin, the very first thing you need to do, if it's your first time using the watercolor, this one pala is a block watercolor. So, you don't need to use yung masking tape kasi it is actually taped. Then, after you're finished, you just need a palette knife to pick it out and take it out of the watercolor block. Ayun. So, this live is not sponsored by Miya or Be Happy. I just would like to say thanks to both these brands because they have given these items for me to try and review. And I am doing this because of my love for watercolors. Okay? So, let's watch these four muna. And then after, these four naman on the lower part. Okay? So, let's start with, I'll use a código for the colors para masabi natin yung names nila. Ayan. Ay! Ayun. Sorry. Para meron tayong idea ng lahat ng names. So, yung white color, first one would be white. I'll be using the brush here. Ayan. Usually, when you are using a new brush, you need to rinse it ng maayos para matanggal yung parang glue-like substance dun sa brush. It's what makes or keeps the shape of the brush. And then you'll feel na okay na yung brush pag hindi na siya matigas. So, just try to use yung colors. The first one would be white. The white I don't usually use pag nag-watercolor. Kasi we want to keep, syempre, the colors as transparent as possible. Usually, the white is a little bit opaque. And you won't probably see it on camera. Next is lemon yellow. Lemon yellow is one of the basic yellows that are found in most of the watercolors sets. Parang staple yellow siya. Ayan. Next natin after that would be medium yellow. So, medium yellow naman is something similar to a chrome yellow. It is a yellow na medyo may hint ng warmth ng orange. And then you have here earth yellow. On some other sets, you'll probably notice this is very similar to mustard or yellow ochre. So this is the earthy, neutral yellow. So you have here a cool yellow, a warm yellow, and a neutral yellow. On the lower part, you'll have here. Let's try to check this one. This is probably yung dark. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, the dark red. What I actually like about the Miya colors, even the gouache, is that they have this brilliant, beautiful colors. Like that. Their dark red are so good. It feels very similar to quinacridone sets. Very similar. Diba? And then let's try this one. This one is, I don't know what color this is. That's probably rose red. It's probably, rose red. That one. And then this one is, yeah. And, ang ganda. So this one is purple. You won't probably see that. So we're using it on a higher tint and then on a more diluted manner. This one, the next one would be a pale purple. I don't know why they have to. This one's a little on the bluish color. And nice, no? And then the next one is sky blue. Ay, ang ganda. Okay. So, sky blue. And then we also have, let's go down. And then you have a green. So, this is probably medium green. Nanguhula no? Puro probably lang. This is a nice green. Okay. And then you have a dark green after, relatively darker than the first one. So this reminds you of Viridian green. And then you have a tree green. Tree green, usually on other sets, you'll see it similar to sap green. This is one of my favorite greens. A little bit on the yellow-greenish side. And then you'll have a burnt sienna. Nice. Burnt sienna is one of my favorite browns. Kasi it's para siyang cooked orange, very similar to terracotta. Ayan. So, we'll be doing this side naman. I'll just move this a little bit here. Kasi we'll be using these naman. So, sa upper side, this would be yung orange. Here. We're just swatching all of these things so that you will get to know what colors you already have. This one is Ponshu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. This one. So it's a beautiful red-orange. Reminds you of a cooked crab. Next one is Oriental Red. So this would probably be a bright red. Oo nga. Ayan. And then, you have a dark red. Make sure you clean your brush whenever you do swatching similar to this. Yeah. Okay, so next line will be having a sea blue. Some of the colors here are named differently. Ang ganda nitong blue na to. There. And then you have Prussian blue. Prussian blue is one of my favorite blue. Yeah. Okay. Next would be ultramarine. Yan. Ultramarine saka Prussian blue ang favorite blue ko. I usually use them for my primaries when I'm painting. There you go. Beautiful blue. And then you have yellow-green. Here. As you can see, the colors are bright and deep and saturated. That's why it's good for beginners. And then, a very good exercise if you're starting to paint. Now we'll have burnt umber. So, ito yung mga neutrals natin. Burnt umber. Again, this is the 24 colors Himi watercolor set kit. So, if you want to get this, they have the 12, 24, and 36. You can get it from Be Happy Crafts. And you can use my code. It's BA-EN. So you can get 8% off your purchase on different art materials. I'll also put that down later. So I have here yung burnt umber. Kanina burnt sienna. This one is sepia naman. Sepia. So burnt sienna, burnt umber, and then sepia. Yan. And then you have Payne's Gray. A very good neutral color. Ayan. Pag tamad kayong mix ng dark color, just add Payne's Gray. And then, of course, you have here yung black. So, more than often, I don't use yung black and white. Hindi naman siya bawal, pero it would be challenging if you can lighten a color just by adding the right amount of water. And also, darken it by mixing the colors together to create a dark tone or a dark hue. If it's your first time watching the live, today we'll be having a Watercolor 101 with Himi, Miya, Watercolor, and Be Happy. So this is not a sponsored live, but the materials that are being used are given by Himi, Miya to me through Be Happy. So thank you so much, Himi, Miya, and Be Happy for providing different kinds of art materials for art enthusiasts, crafters, artists, and students. Thank you so much. Okay, so we just let this dry a little bit so you can see this one. Ayan, diba? Ang ganda ng color. So this set has all of these colors. So we have a healthy number of yellows over here. We also have beautiful arrays of blue, and then lovely reds, plus greens, orange, and purples. So this has the good set of primaries and secondary color, plus several kinds of neutral colors over here. So we will be doing some exercises for today using our paper. So we'll be using this paper, the cold press surface. So there are actually basic two kinds of techniques. So we'll be doing it here. I'll show you. And so there are two major techniques when you are painting in watercolor. So there would be the wet on wet and then wet on dry. When you say wet on wet, ibig sabihin, you have the surface, the paper, wet, basa yung papel, bago ka maglagay ng pintura. So, you have a wet surface before you put wet paint. If you're doing naman wet on dry, ibig sabihin you're using wet paint on dry surface. So, basa yung paint sa tuyo na surface. So, I'll just put a line over here. Ayan. Para lang meron tayong ayun. Ayan. O, diba ang ganda ng lapis ng Himi, Miya? So, so there are two basic techniques. Wet on wet, wet on dry. And then, if you're using a very dry application of the paint on a brush, on a very dry surface, you can produce naman dry brush technique. Okay? So, yung una, merong ano lang, yung basic lang yung itatakal natin tonight. So, the first one would be flat wash. Pag sinabing flat wash, it is just laying out a color on the paper as flat as possible. So, I'll be getting a color from here and then put it here. So, since ayan sila, I'll get this color para makikita nyo kaagad. So, this is yung rose red. Okay. So, what you do, what you want when you are activating yung pan, so this is a pan, solid pan, is you add dots of water here sa pan right after you put it here sa mixing plate cover. Right after, we'll be adding yung water. I am more comfortable using a regular brush than a water brush. Pero if you can do this also with a water brush, it's okay. Ano lang siya, it's just a variation of the tool, but it's the same. Okay, so ayan. So if somebody say na, can you please do a flat wash, I'll write it down. So a flat wash. So I'm using yung pigment liner ng Miya. It just means that they want you to lay out a flat version of that color dun sa paper. Like this. Yan. Flat wash. Yan. Flat na siya. Wala kang ibang gagawin. You don't need to put any gradation. It's as flat as you can go. Minsan, challenging siya. Sometimes, some colors doesn't lay out flat, especially if they are colors that tend to granulate. When you say granulate, these are colors with particles na mas mabigat than the other particles na meron dun sa mix ng color. So, those particles tends to deposit on the lower part or nooks and crannies of the paper. So, they appear to be not as flat as possible. It's not your fault. Hindi mo siya kasalanan. It's just how the pigment is. Let's do a wash with gradation. So, it's a simple wash like this. So, ito ay similar dun sa ginawa ko kanina sa swatching. So, ito siya. And then, what you do next is you add water on the other side so that it has yung gradation from dark to light. So, that is a wash with gradation. Sabihin from light to dark or dark to light. It's up to you. Okay. So, itong technique that we did here is wet on dry. So, wet yung ginawa ko na application on dry paper. Ang next naman natin na gagawin is wet on wet. For that to happen, you need to wet yung surface like this. So, when you wet a surface pag watercolor, you just want a glistening wet surface. Ibig sabihin, pag tiningnan nyo siya from a certain distance or angle, you can see na nag-glisten yung paper or parang may kislap yung papel. Doesn't have to be dripping wet. I'll be getting the same thing here and then I'll run across my brush. Ayan. So you can see, pag wet yung paper, iba yung effect nung paint. Nagfe-feather siya, tapos nagkakaroon siya ng mga blooms like this. So, that's a wet-on-wet approach in watercolor. Ayan, ganyan yung nangyayari. I'll just write it down. So, this is a wet-on-wet. So, pag alam nyo na yung dalawang klase ng technique na yan, you'll probably know most of the things that you need to know in basic watercolor painting. So, you just need to practice these basic technique. Of course, you also need to do and practice. Hi, Janice. Hi, Judy Ann. So, you also need to practice doing things with your brush. Example, creating thin line with your brush. Like this. Yan. So, practicing nyo yan. Makagawa kayo ng thin lines using your brush. It doesn't have to be perfect thin as possible. With the same brush, you do a thick line also. Like this. Yan. And of course, yung third one would be doing a thick and thin line with the same brush. So, example, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin. Again, thick, thin, thick, thin, thick. Last one, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin. So, ito yung practice, basic practice on brush control para ma-maximize nyo yung usage ng inyong brush nang hindi kayo papalit-palit ng brush. Of course, if you want to get your first brush, I highly suggest you get a round brush. Anong size ba to? Wala siyang size, pero this is a good size. Not too big, not too small, especially on this paper. So again, we have here yung basic technique. So you have a flat wash, wash with gradation, and then we did here a wet on wet. Nag-bloom na, konti na lang yung nandito sa taas. And then we had several brush marks here. Now, when everything is dried, Ayan. Tuyo na siya. You can do another technique in watercolor. You call it glazing. So glazing is adding another layer of translucent to transparent watercolor layer on a previously dried layer of watercolor. So in this case, since dried na siya, I can add a glaze over here using another color. So, example would be this one. See? So, it doesn't necessarily mean na magbe-blend yung colors nila together, but rather, you're putting like a transparent color over yung previously dried color. So, this is called glazing. Para kayo nag-glaze ng cake. Wait. I'll write that down. Glazing. Ayan. So, let's start doing an easy watercolor sketch over here. Dito sa side na to. And I'll be using a circle from, ayan, medyo, okay. So, ayan. Yung coaster dito na medyo hindi ganun kalinis. Ayan. It's a used coaster. So, this would be our output for tonight. To check yung ating mga bagay-bagay. And if you know someone who's interested in this, we're doing Watercolor 101 with Himi, Miya, and Be Happy. So this is not a sponsored live, but rather, these materials are sent to me by Himi Miya through Be Happy Crafts PH. If ever you wanted to check your first watercolor sets, brush, and art supplies, you can use BA-EAN, my code on Be Happy Crafts PH. I'll put the link below so you can get 8% off on your purchase on Be Happy on their website. So, ayan. Naglagay lang ako ng drawing ng circle here. Gumawa lang ako ng bilog gamit yung coaster. And then, gagawa lang tayo ng quick sketch para lang makita nyo yung gagawin natin for tonight. So, ang gagawin lang natin, gagawa lang tayo ng bilog, like this. Round shape. Isa. Round shape over here. And probably another round shape over here. Ayan. And then, isa pa, round shape, mas maliit over here. So, it would be like this, and then yan. So, this would be a simple kind of floral shape. Right after, we'll be doing the half and half method. So, I'll just be putting a simple na line over here. Kita nyo ba siya? Ayan. Hi, JJ! Ayan. Hi, Idil. Okay. Okay. And then we'll have another line over here, and then another one over here. And so, para ka lang gumawa ng LEC. And then another one here, correspond to the other side. And then this one over here, and then over there. Ayan. So, simple lang yung gagawin natin. So, something similar, we'll do one over here, another one over there, and then another one here, and another one there. Huwag kayong matakot pag gumagawa ng ganito. Hindi siya kailangan na perfect. So, in this case, dito medyo maliit lang siya. Ayan. Ayan. Tapos, on this side, we'll be using lines like this. Ayan. So, this would be yung base ng ating leaf. So, for our leaf, we'll be doing this kind of leaf. Ayan. Medyo siya, parang wavy na leaf. So, ginawa ko muna yung line na yan. Ayan. Hindi siya kailangan na perfect looking. Ayan lang siya. Simple lang. Okay. Okay. So, yan lang yung gagawin natin today. Next, Ang unang gagawin natin is, I'll probably use yung pen later on. Depende kung ano yung kakalabasan. So, we'll be applying different things dun sa drawing natin. So, the first one would be wet on wet dun sa circle. So, pag sinabing wet on wet dun sa circle, babasain nyo lang yung bilog na to. One by one lang. So, this circle first. And then, I'll be using yung medium yellow. And then, I'll just drop in yung color. Pag sinabing drop in, itutuldok nyo lang siya dun sa wet surface. So, this is a wet on wet technique. Habang, tuyo, basa pa yan, you get a little bit of the rose red, and then you drop a little bit of that dun sa gilid, like that. Ayan. So, makikita nyo, nagmimix siyang kusa kasi nag-drop yung color. And then, try to pick a little bit of that out para hindi sobra yung reddish color. Just enough for you to have yung color here. Okay, so we'll be doing the same thing again here. Just a little bit of water on this side. If it's your first time watching, this is Ian DJ Raven Fox 13. We're doing a wet on wet technique. This is dropping in of colors using medium yellow dun sa yan. And then dropping in a little bit of rose red on the sides, like this. Yan siya. Yung sobra, kunin nyo, i-pick nyo lang siya. Habang basa. You can add more yellow. Yan. So, wet on wet technique yung unang ginawa natin. And then we'll be doing it also dun sa taas. Always have clean water. Clean your brush. Yan. So, drop in color. Like that. And then, you can actually, I'll be saving this live, so if you don't have the materials ready for tonight, okay lang. You can watch it for tonight, pwede nyo siyang panoorin ngayon, tapos try nyo siyang gawin bukas, or later, I'll be uploading yung replay para mag-practice. So, ayan siya. Yan. So, what you want is for this to dry a little bit. So, habang pinagdadry niyan, gagawin natin yung leaves. For the leaf part, I'll be using yung sap green color, yung tree green. Put it here. So, medyo, ano siya, yellow-greenish, sap green, yung tree green. I'll be doing the same, but this time, I'll be using yung yellow. Tapos, i-color ko yung, i-flat wash ko yung leaf. Like this. Ng yellow. Tapos, after doing that, kunin ko yung leaf green, and then I'll drop in yung green here. Dun sa yellow. See? So, doing it this way promotes texture and then a certain effect. So, gawin natin siya ulit dun sa isa pang leaf. This one. This is Ian DJ, Raven Fox 13. If you know someone who would probably like this live, this is Watercolor 101. Tag them or send this to your, hi Katrina. I know this is late. Oh, pero we'll try to finish as early before 12. Ayan siya. And then get yung sap green. Then drop in yung color over here. Ayan. Diba? Next natin, on this side, yellow ulit. Yung medium yellow, flat wash. So, July is World Watercolor Month. If ever you also painted along with this, feel free to to post your finished artwork below sa comment section later or tag me if you post it on social media. Para masaya. Share niyo yung love for painting and watercolor. So yan, drop in nyo lang siya. So ayan siya. So we have this over here. And then, the next thing that we will be doing is, instead of coloring yung ating flowers, we'll be coloring the background instead. So, for the upper part, I'll be using a darker color. So, ang napili kong kulay ay blue. Yung blue na napili ko ay yung... Anong blue to? Wait ha. Kunin ko yung aking kodigo. So, I'll use yung sky blue. Ayan. So, instead na yung bulaklak yung kukulayan natin, iiwasan natin kulayan yung flowers. Instead, I'll be coloring the background of the flowers. Kasi yung ating petals ay white. So, for that to be seen, you need a background to do it. So, what I'll be doing here is I'll paint along the edges here. Example, dito. When you do this, you do it part by part. So, ito munang isang part na to. Yan. Over here. Yan, see? And then you paint over here. So, these are like basic shapes. Isipin nyo lang basic shapes lang siya. Pag sinungkit nyo siya ng brush, yung shape ng brush na nakuha, yun na yun. You don't need to do so many complicated things. Yan. Again, we're using a sky blue. Yan. Okay, over there, I'll reload my brush, get another one here, and okay, and then another one over here, and here. So this blue would be the upper part of the painting. See that? Okay. Next natin pong kabila, bago matuyo. So, from this side, ito siya. Okay. Line. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's one thing you need to remember. When you're painting, you don't have to. You are not required to do perfect things. Diba? Ano lang. Think na practice siya. So, susungkitin natin ulit yung ibang mga petals over here. Doesn't even have to be perfect. Okay. Ayan siya. Line. Over here. There. Go. Ayan. So, we are painting around the petals. Next is this one. So, meron tayo ditong mga spaces in between. Yeah. And also here on this side. There you go. And here also. And there also. Another one here. I'm not painting yung stem. Yeah. And of course here. Around this area. Okay, so halfway our drawing, this painting, we will be shifting yung color ng background. It would be on the darker side of blue. So, I'll be using, wait lang, blend ko lang tong background. Yan. So, I'll be using a darker blue dun sa lower part. So, it would be yung this blue. Saan ba yan? Here. Hi, Sarah. So, this would be a darker blue. Okay. So, from this side, I'll start naman here sa baba. Ano lang to? Pwede namang isang kulay lang. You can use one color for everything. Feeling ko lang mas, ano siya, mas interesting if you shift the color halfway. Yan. So, I'm using yung Prussian blue for this. Yan. So, makita nyo medyo rough na yung texture. Yan. Tapos you also paint around the dahon that we did. So, the stem, the flowers, will be white. Okay, on this side, this is a good practice if you want to practice yung brush control and your watercolor techniques. So you can just do this anytime. Ayan siya. Okay? Same blue over here. Go around the flowers and the petals and the leaves. If you want, you can add mga parang suggestion of foliage dun sa in between, like this. Nila, like that. You can use any color that you like, of course. I just chose this para mas madali lang siyang makita, especially for this example. And if you want a lighter color, feel free to do so. If you want a darker color, feel free to do so. Ayan. Okay, so I'm just doing yung loob. Hi Myra, how are you? Welcome sa Late Night Live. So this is Try It Tuesday. So we're trying out the Miya 24 colors watercolor kit from Be Happy. So ayan siya here. And yun, so line over here and there. Ayan. Yun. So, right after this dries, ayan, so meron na tayong basic, everything, we just want everything to dry. You can add second layers dito sa taas, dun sa gitna ng flowers natin. So, what you can do is get some orange, konti, and then we'll stipple a few details. So, it's like doing pencil or technique. Let's see, it's too much. And so, add dots of orange there. And maliliit lang. So that you'll have a feel of texture nung bud niya. Yung gitna. Okay, so we'll be doing it dun sa ibang parts over here. Ayan. And then, on the last one, here we go. So, maliliit lang na tuldok. So, stippling yung tawag dun. Pero using paint. There you go. Yan. Pag natuyo na lahat, the next that you will be doing is to add yung color doon sa stem. So, for the stem, we'll probably use yung sap, etong sap green. You should have done it kanina. Pero, okay lang. Yan. So, we'll color here, there, and another one here. Yan. Okay? So, papansin nyo, ay parang may kulang dun sa flower kasi white na white siya. So, we'll be adding small hints of color doon sa gitnang part para hindi siya mukhang malungkot. So, what I want you to do is to get yung blue that you use here and then the orange that you use on the other side. So, the same colors. And then, let's combine the two. So, the same blue over here and then yung orange over here. So, yung kulay na yan, ayan siya. It would produce a little bit of a greenish tone. And then you get a little bit of the red. Ayan. Konti pa. Ayan siya. You'll get this color, medyo, ano siya, neutral. So, para siyang grayish tone. So, yan yung gagamitin natin for the white. So, I'll just be putting this dun sa gitna, like this. And, konti. Tapos, clean brush with a little bit of water. You just brush it away from the center. Yan. So, do that again. Maliit lang na tuldok nung dark neutral color na yun. And then, you brush it away from the center. Konti-konti lang. Huwag masasobrahan. Pag nasobrahan, ang gagawin lang, you pick it with the brush and then clean water. So, parang maliit na tuldok lang nung neutral tone na yun. And so, this is one of the basic things you can do with watercolor. That it's not too hard, especially for beginners. I think beginners can do this. Walang masyadong pressure. You get to create something na buo. You used a few colors here and there. And then you get to practice your brush strokes. Ayan. So, meron tayong grayish tone. So, hindi puting-puti yung flower natin. Flower, no? Harina. So, hindi puting-puti yung ating petals. Ayan. There you go. Nice, diba? Ayan. So, pag natuyo na yan, what you can do is to get a darker orange and then add a little more stipple dun sa sobra na naman. Dito. Dun sa pinaka maliit na segments niya dito. Na, ayan siya. Ayan. So, nangyari doon, nag-bleed siya kasi hindi pa tuyo nung nilagay ko. So, ingatan nyo lang. Pero minsan, when you do that, tapos nag-bleed, ano siya, nagiging siyang effect. So, okay lang yan. Huwag kayong ma-discourage when that happens. Ayan. Dahil nga, nilagyan natin yan, nainggit tuloy yung ating dahon. So, we'll probably do yung dahon natin. Let's just add a little blue dun sa dahon. A little blue rather dun sa greenish na dahon. And then, color yung line, this line. Ayan. Water. Para lang magkaroon ng hati yung dahon. And do that also dun sa kabilang side here. So we're just like doing we're helping yung colors to have dimension. Okay. Last one over here. Ayan. Yan. So, a little bit of that dark dun sa stem na nasa ilalim over here. And here also. And or also here. There you go. Yan. Pag happy na kayo, you can either add some more darks, example here, para lang mag-accentuate yung ibang parts ng flowers. Okay. Hindi naman kailangan lahat lagyan yan. Yan. So, we have here na, and then probably, yeah, put your name somewhere. Ayan. Okay. So, there you go. So, again, what we used are different kinds of watercolor technique. The wet on wet, wet on dry. You also did the flat wash, wash with gradation. You also did the wet on wet, where we wet first the surface and then put several kinds of things on top. Right after, we did several brush exercises. We did a very thin stroke, a very thick stroke, a variation of thick and thin. And then right after everything is done, we did a glazing of a yellow over all of these things. And then we applied that to our simple painting tonight. Again, this is using... Again, we are using the Himi Miya 24 colors square watercolor kit white case. So this also comes in a 12 color square watercolor kit. It's as you can get it for like 499 pesos, and if you use my code on the Be Happy website, you can get 8% off of that. So this is a perfect gift for those friends whom you know na mahilig sa art, or feeling nyo marunong na mag-watercolor or gustong mag-watercolor. Oo, nainggit yung dahon, Myra. Okay lang, mag-blend na di sadya. Ayun. Yes, Junel, tama. Oo. Tapos yan, hayaan nyo lang yan na may mga this and that. So, here, ayan. So, we did this small artwork to illustrate some of the techniques that we did here. Again, thank you to Miya Philippines for sending these art materials to me, and for Be Happy always for supporting our arts and crafts na mga ganap. Ayan. So, this is a good brush. Oo. If you want to give the gift of watercolor art for beginners and students, or for crafters, or for people who are just returning to the art of watercolor, this is a good set for you to try. We will be trying the watercolor pencils next time. And thank you for joining me. This is Ian, RavenFox13. Thank you so much for joining me for tonight. It's almost 12, and this is Art Talk. This is episode number 8, Watercolor 101. If ever you have painted along, or you joined me in doing this simple watercolor exercise, feel free to put all of your artworks below, or tag me on my social media. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, almost on all social media. Just search for RavenFox13. This is Ian DJ. I hope all of you are safely home, and for everyone who's watching and are still here, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. I am very thankful for you all for joining me in my art journey. And this is Ian DJ. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thanks so much.